In the second week of the NFL preseason, the Cincinnati Bengals defeated the Washington Commanders 31-17. On paper, the score looked simple. The favored Bengals did their job. Joe Burrow showed leadership on the field, and new names emerged. But in reality, this game told us much more, because what we saw on the field gave critical clues about how the regular season might unfold. So the question is, are these Bengals really ready to be a Super Bowl contender, or will their weaknesses corner them once again at the start of the season? There's enormous pressure on Joe Burrow. Cincinnati has started the last 3 seasons with a 0-2 record, and this time, they don't want to relive the same nightmare. Under Burrow's leadership, the offense looked productive, but in this game, he was sacked twice and came dangerously close to turnover. Serious warning signs. This isn't just a statistic. Every crack in the offensive line could mean the fate of Burrow's health and the Bengals' entire season. Having a star quarterback is a massive advantage. But if you can't protect that star, the whole plan can collapse in an instant. On the Commanders' side, the story was completely different. All eyes were on Jayden Daniels, and the moment the young quarterback stepped on the field, the atmosphere changed. A few plays, a few runs, and suddenly the stadium's energy lifted. Daniels steps in and just put points on the board. They made Washington fans believe the future is with us. Some players inspire hope regardless of the score. Daniels was exactly that kind of spark in this game. The real question is whether that spark will shine just as brightly in the regular season. The surprise storyline of the game, however, was the Bengals' new weapon Mitchell Tinsley. Expectations were low for him, yet he exploded on the field. 2 touchdowns, 73 yards, and an unforgettable one-handed catch. The Bengals already have stars like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but Tinsley's performance could shift the balance in the roster. A new reliable target for Burrow may just be emerging. But here's a question. Why do young players who shine in the preseason often disappear once the real season begins? Because the gap between preseason and the regular season is like night and day. Yet some manage to turn this opportunity into the turning point of their careers. And the Bengals-Commanders clash could very well be the beginning of such stories. In this video, we won't just look at the score. We'll break down Burrow's leadership, Daniels' rise, Tinsley's breakout, and the shift in Washington's running game step by step. But our main focus will be this. What do the details of this game really tell us about the regular season ahead? And before we dive in, a quick reminder. If you enjoy NFL analysis and in-depth commentary like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support is crucial for keeping content like this coming. Now, let's first take a closer look at Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense. Because those 2 sacks in this game were actually a clear warning sign of the biggest danger Cincinnati might face all season. Joe Burrow is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. Every moment he's on the field, there's hope for the Cincinnati Bengals. But what we saw against Washington also revealed how fragile that hope can be. Burrow showcased his ability to move the ball, but at the same time, the offensive line's flaws were exposed. He took 2 sacks, one for a 17-yard loss, and another that nearly turned into a fumble. That raises the question, do the Bengals really have a solid foundation, or do they still have major issues protecting Burrow? Remember, this was just a preseason game. In the regular season, he'll be on the field much longer. If he's getting taken down twice in such limited time, his health could be at risk once September's intensity begins. For the past 4 years, this has been the Bengals' biggest problem. A strong passing game paired with an unreliable offensive line. The painful Super Bowl loss to the Los Angeles Rams is still fresh in memory. Burrow was crushed under defensive pressure that day, too. Cincinnati's first drive against Washington was promising on the surface. A run from Chase Brown and some Commanders' penalties led to a Bengals touchdown. But notice, it was mostly the penalties that did the work. In other words, the offense scored not through its own strength, but because of mistakes by the opponent. That shows us something important. Burrow and the Bengals offense still haven't fully found their rhythm. The second drive, however, was a disaster. Burrow scrambled helplessly in the backfield and lost 17 yards. For a quarterback, that's more than a loss of yards. It damages confidence. It gives the defense the message, we can get to you. On the next drive, another sack nearly resulted in a fumble. Only Ted Karras recovering the ball prevented a total disaster. Had Washington recovered, the game's momentum could have completely shifted to the Commanders. Still, Burrow didn't quit. On the following series, his short but crucial touchdown pass to Charlie Jones became the turning point. That's what makes Burrow special. No matter how much pressure he faces, he stays in the game. But that doesn't mean the Bengals' offense is in perfect shape. Burrow constantly being under pressure limits even his great abilities. Even the best quarterbacks in the NFL can only go so far without protection. Now, let's think. Why has Cincinnati started the last 3 seasons 0-2? The answer might be right here. Early in the season, the team struggles to find rhythm. The offensive line isn't fully settled, and Burrow is constantly under duress. If this cycle doesn't break in 2025, we may see the same picture again. Burrow's leadership is undeniable, but leadership alone isn't enough. So I'll throw the question back to you. Do you think the Bengals' biggest problem is still the offensive line, or does the issue lie somewhere else? Share your thoughts in the comments, because this debate might just determine Cincinnati's fate this season. But the story doesn't end with Burrow. On Washington's side, the young star who stepped on the field brought a completely different vibe. Now let's take a closer look at Jayden Daniels' performance and the hope he sparked for the Commanders. For Washington Commanders fans, the most exciting moment of the game was Jayden Daniels taking the field. He's still young, still in the process of proving himself in the NFL, but from his very first drive, he made a difference. Once he took the ball against the Bengals, you could feel not just the game, but the entire atmosphere shift. Daniels didn't even throw a pass, but his runs revealed the future of Washington's offense. A 4-play, 74-yard drive, done entirely on the ground, leaving the defense stunned. His 14-yard touchdown run not only exposed Cincinnati's defensive flaws, but also proved how natural a quarterback Daniels is. Breaking a weak tackle attempt and sprinting into the end zone summed him up perfectly. Tough, fast, and fearless. Let's be honest, this summer hasn't been smooth for Washington. Brian Robinson was surrounded by trade rumors. Terry McLaurin was pushing for an extension, and offensive linemen Sam Cosmi and Brandon Coleman were battling injuries. The team's biggest weapons weren't even on the field. Yet a young quarterback stepped in, quickly energized the offense, and gave fans hope. That's invaluable because Washington's biggest missing piece in recent years has been a true leader. Could Daniels be that leader? It's too soon to say, but this game significantly raised expectations. Another key factor was the talent around Daniels. Deebo Samuel made his Washington debut and immediately contributed with a 19-yard jet sweep run. Chris Rodriguez Jr. added a powerful 40-yard burst. This shows us something important. Washington is no longer relying solely on the passing game. They're building a more versatile offensive identity. If that identity complements Daniels' mobility, the Commanders' offense could become a dangerous weapon in the NFC. Of course, from a critical perspective, we also need to acknowledge that the Bengals' defense hasn't looked solid this preseason. They gave up 34 points to the Eagles, and now they got shredded by Daniels in a brief but impressive drive. So when evaluating Washington's offense, we must consider the weakness of their opponent. Still, the truth remains. No matter the context, Daniels' short showcase was enough to make fans believe the future is ours. That's why, for Washington, the score didn't really matter. What they wanted was a glimpse of a quarterback spark, and they got it. The rest is up to the coaching staff. If Daniels is developed the right way, this team could become one of the most dangerous not just in the NFC, but in the entire league. So yes, friends, these were the biggest takeaways from the Cincinnati Bengals' 31-17 preseason victory. On the Bengals side, Joe Burrow's talent is still unquestioned, but if the offensive line can't protect him, they could once again stumble out of the gate. On the other hand, surprise names like Mitchell Tinsley could add new depth to the roster. For Washington, the true story was Jayden Daniels. He was on the field for only a few plays, but gave fans the excitement they've been missing for years. A breath of fresh air, a young star who could bring leadership on the field. Yes, the regular season is a different beast from preseason, but Commanders fans now have something new to believe in. Now it's over to you. Do you think the Bengals can start strong this season, or will they stumble again in the opening weeks? And is Daniels truly the franchise quarterback Washington has been searching for? I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more deep NFL analysis. In the next video, I'll dive into not just this game, but the broader trends we've seen this preseason, and the hidden strategies teams are keeping in their back pockets. See you there.